years. But we wanted to start off first by introducing the 5 of us who volunteered to be your alignment ambassadors for the DC chapter. And if you wanted to start off with Shirley Lewis. If you wanted to go ahead and do, whether you wanted to sit there or come up here.
Did you want me to?
Just give your story about why you became.
What we're going to do.
You can see how together we are on this.
We're not quite aligned yet.
We're working on it. What's really important for you to know is that the 5 of us here, the alignment ambassadors, and all of the alignment ambassadors, we volunteered for this job. We asked to do this. And we wanted you, we thought you might be wondering why, otherwise reason that people might be willing to put themselves in the line of fire. So before we got into the discussion of the alignment itself, we thought we'd tell you what the alignment means to us and why we decided to do this. And Shirley's going to start us off.
I'm starting you off because I've been in the library field the longest. I've been at the Library of Congress over 40 years and proud to be a librarian for all that time. I first heard the word alignment when I went to the new members reception earlier this year, and Gloria and Caputo spoke briefly about it. It couldn't be a lengthy presentation because we were all standing, it's a reception, there wasn't much room. But it got me curious about it. And then during the annual conference, I went to the Leadership Institute. As you may or may not know, you don't have to be a chapter leader at this point in time to go to the Leadership Institute. Members can go to it. And I'm an appointed member of the chapter, but not an elected member this month, but I went. And I heard the panel that presented about alignment. And that panel, wow, when I heard about the research that was being done and just the things that they found, and I found it surprising, and I thought, well, that means I'm looking at it from this point of view and not from where the CEOs are looking at it from, or the other CFOs and those from the executive suite. Because one of the conclusions, what they found out, was that people didn't care that much that you managed a library. And here, we as information professionals, we're proud we're the library director, or you aspire to be one or something. But what they cared more about were other things that you'll hear more about when we talk about the research findings. And that got me thinking about the alignment and how our association was going to be working with us on aligning us so we would have a clear voice on conveying to our management what we were doing, the value that we were providing to the organization. So later on, when there was a call for volunteers to be alignment ambassadors, I said, I'll put my name up, even though I'm off on a trip in 2 days that I'll be here and all. And I knew there'd be other people who would volunteer. I didn't realize at that point the uproar there would be about other parts of alignment. But still, the research got me going, and that's what we want to tell you more about today. And the next person will be James. Dave.
Hi, Dave Hemingway. I'll be a little more brief. Shirley was, but I've had a lot of different positions in the library world, from obviously an MLS student to an IRC manager, and now, of course, I'm on the vendor side of the business. And throughout the past probably 18 months or so, I've known a lot of people who have lost their jobs, and I really believe that that was due in part to the CXO level management not knowing the true value of what they were doing in their business. And I think that the alignment means that we'll be able to share that value with the decision makers in a more positive way. So that's why I decided to become an alignment ambassador.
Hey, I started off my career on the computer side of the house, and then working in a library, and eventually moved over to become a librarian. Graduated from Catholic, and through the years, got more and more involved with what SLA was doing, and listening to what was being said in regards to the alignment. I too was impressed with the quality of the research that was coming out and the level of effort that they went through this multi-year process to really figure out what it is that SLA membership is about and where we as an association and we as a profession are going. So it was easy for me to sign up and say, yeah, I'll be an ambassador because this makes sense. And hopefully, as you'll see when we go through the presentation, that it's not an emotional win. We're talking about hard facts and evaluations of not only what's happening to us at our individual levels, but what's the perception of those above us and how that impacts us. So that's why I signed up.
For those of you that don't know me, I'm actually a government contractor at a pretty large federal agency, and that agency had its budget impacted pretty hard when the recession hit. A lot of the other contracts at the agency had layoffs, and at one point they were talking about furloughing the federal employees. But at our contract, we didn't have any layoffs, we didn't have any furloughs, and we were told repeatedly by our own management and by our federal liaison that that's because they considered what we did critical to the success of the agency. And I went to the new member reception and saw the alignment presentation and just really saw all the tools that the alignment project and the research gives us so we can talk to our stakeholders and show them that they really can't afford not to have us in their organizations.